Welcome to Scale Her Up, the show for female business owners and leaders who want to grow profitable, sustainable businesses without burning out. I'm Dr Brenda Hector. I'm a business growth specialist helping women develop themselves and their businesses so they can achieve their goals and enjoy the lifestyle they dream of. In each episode, you'll hear inspiring stories, honest conversations, and practical strategies to help you start, grow, or scale your business. If you're new here, hit follow so you don't miss an episode, and come and join our Scale Her Up Facebook community to keep the conversation going. And today, I'm really pleased today. I've got a client of mine on today. This is Jules Fleming of Continental Cream. Jules, thank you very much for agreeing to come on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
No, I think you've got a great story. So let's start with Continental Cream. For anybody who doesn't know it, what do you do at Continental Cream?
Continental Cream is an iconic small business that's been running in Banchory for easy 40 plus years. So we deliver fabulous real ice cream, not gelato, real cream ice cream. And we also have a whippy, so we do whippy, and we have over 100 jars of way out sweets. And we provide sweet cones for birthday parties. We can also do ice cream cakes, not made by us, but we buy them in. And we have coffees, we have milkshakes, we have warm donuts, we have gluten-free waffles, hot chocolate, coffee, drinks, lots. For a wee shop, it has a lot of offerings.
It does, yeah. So not just an ice cream shop or a sweetie shop.
No, definitely not.
No. And actually a bit of a destination. Banchory itself, for anyone who doesn't know, beautiful town in the heart of Aberdeenshire on Royalty side. So Banchory can be a bit of a nice day trip out, can't it?
Yeah, we have a lot of tourists from further afield, but we do get a lot of people that just come out from Aberdeen because it's not too far. You've got all the beautiful river walks. You've got the park with the new skate park. And there's also Scolty Hill, which is a favourite of families to walk, and then they pop in past it. It seems to be a bribe to get the kids to go up the hill. Is you'll get an ice cream on the way back. Yeah, Banchory has a lot to offer. We've got amazing little coffee shops everywhere. And like I said, it's not too far from the city to come out, spend a few hours, and then get the kids home again in time for tea. So yeah, no, it is a holiday destination and a day trip destination, I would say.
Yeah, and it's just lovely. Yeah, just beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do have a lot of sunny days.
Should hope so, running an ice cream shop.
Yeah.
You are the owner of Continental Cream?
Partner owner, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Husband is a bit more of the kind of silent owner, silent partner, although he does all the kind of financy stuff in the background, or most of it, not all of it, but most of it in the background.
And you run the shop, run the team?
Yes. I manage the shop and all the staff. Yeah.
Now, I know that you bought the shop from the previous owners who'd run it for a very long time. How long ago did you buy it?
It'll be 5 years in July.
Okay, well done. 5 years in business. Yeah.
5 years. Good. Yeah.
So let's talk about that decision to buy and the journey there. What made you decide to take on this iconic little shop?
A couple of things really, but the main thing was I'm quite spiritualist. And I believe in listening to your intuition. I dreamt that we owned it. So I woke up the next day, it was a Tuesday, and I said to my husband, I think we should buy the ice cream shop, because he was in oil and gas. I'm a hairdresser to trade. With COVID at the time, I was like, we need to diversify into something else. I said, why don't we just do this? And he was like, what? So his grandparents lived in Banchory. He's got cousins in Banchory, so he spent a lot of his childhood in Banchory, so would have frequented the shop when he was wee. And likewise, my parents had caravans in Banchory, and we used to have a towing caravan that if we weren't in our statics, we were towing through Banchory. So I went to that shop a lot as a child, so I remember it. But yeah, it was more the dream that I owned it. So I decided to contact the
So was it
previous
for
owners.
sale?
No,
Okay.
no, no, not advertised for sale, shall we say? So when I just basically walked up to the shop that day and said, I'm here because I've had a dream that I own this shop. And you might think I'm absolutely bonkers, and that's okay because my husband thinks I'm bonkers. But I wondered if you were considering selling. And that's when they told me that they'd been trying to sell for 15 years. I said, oh, okay. So then we agreed to meet because Gavin was working on the Friday, all four of us, because it was a couple that owned it, to just chat things through to see if it really was something that we could do and if they were really ready to sell. Previously, I believe, two different lots of people that had approached them to buy, but both times it had fallen through for one reason or another. So, but this time they were 100% ready to let go because they were tired. They'd done 23 years solid with very little time off. And because they ran it themselves, they did have young staff in helping over the holidays, but apart from that, they worked it themselves. So they really didn't even have a holiday in 23 years. So they were done. They were exhausted. They'd had enough and they were ready to let go. So I was like, let's see if we can make this happen. And we did. So the agreement was we would take over at the end of September. Then they came back to us saying, we don't want to work another summer. It's too busy. Can you take over at the beginning of summer? And I was like, that's quite short notice.
I can see the benefit though, because you would have the busy
Summer
season
trade.
to make some.
That was their thoughts too, was it would be kinder to us to give us that summer trade to set us up really. So it was nice of them in that way too. And the gentleman of the partnership, he very kindly, because Gavin was working away at the time, so the whippy machine needs to be cleaned regularly to keep it producing as good whippy as the shop has a reputation for. So he said, look, I'm happy to come in every Saturday and I'll clean it for you once a week while Gavin's working away. So I was like, you can't say fairer than that, which was great. When they were at the end of the phone, if ever I needed anything. But before that, to learn the ropes, because obviously, like I said, I'm a hairdresser to trade. Obviously, that involves retail. But to learn the ropes, I went in between doing clients. If I had an hour here or a 2 hours there or a 3 hours there, I just walked up to the shop and went in and started working with them. So I could see what they did, how they did it, just learned from the masters, really. So I started doing that in the May. So I did that all of May, all of June, and then we took over in July. But they were still there at the end of the phone if I needed anything, which was, that to me, that was it was a little security blanket for me, really, especially with Gav. He left the day before we took over.
Goodness.
Yes, yes. So I was left with a new business and two children and two dogs, no, one dog at the time, and he went away because it was the summer holidays. But we managed because prior to that, I'd employed two girls that I knew who also had worked in retail that I knew would be able to help me out.
You knew you couldn't run it the way that the previous owners had run it.
I had no intention of ever running it the way the previous owners had run it. No, the intention for me was always to get it back on its feet, get it updated over time, not immediately. I needed to know how it worked and how the lay of the land and see where I could maybe make things work more efficiently before we decorated it or refitted it. So no, my intention was always that it would eventually be able to run itself. I'm quite happy to manage it, but I don't want to be the person in there scooping the ice cream. Not all the time. I'm happy to do it when I'm covering holidays, but not all the time, no.
Yeah. So you've taken over. Here we go. Ice cream shop's yours. Did it go the way you intended it to?
So that summer was exceptionally warm in Scotland. So we were flying by the seat of our pants every day. We were basically firefighting on a daily basis obviously I was in there every single day at that time because I needed to know how the shop was working to be able to then set up systems to let other people know how it worked. And yeah, we were mega, mega busy. So we coped. And to be fair, to be honest, if you land in, you have to sink or swim.
Yeah.
And we swam, like we were swimming. We were doing a great job. I felt like we were doing a great job. And we were managing. I didn't run out of stock of anything. I was managing to keep on top of the stock. But those were long days, working into the evening. I remember still sitting in front of the laptop at 2 o'clock in the morning one morning, thinking, I have to go to bed now because I have to be in the shop at 8:30. So I have to go to bed now. So I just shut the laptop. That's every business owner who starts a business knows that. That's what you do. That's the hours that you put in until it starts being able to work itself. And that's the part that people don't see. They might just see me driving around in a new van and I've got a nice ice cream trailer now, but they don't see the bits that I put in to get to that. In that 5 years, it certainly wasn't like that at the beginning. We were like scrambling to pay the wages at the end of every month. But that's what you put in if you want success, I believe. So yeah, it was a tough summer. It was a tough summer, but it was a good summer. And I had two good girls that just got on with it. So it was great. And we kept on the 4 younger staff that the previous owners had, because they said, do you want us just to let them go? I was like, no, absolutely not. I said, they know what they're doing and I don't. I said, so I need them. Yeah. And that was great. They were happy to stay and they were helpful. They were very helpful. We just left them to scoop and serve because they knew how to do that. That's what they'd been taught to do. And we were doing all the business stuff on the side. So yeah, so it was good. It was good.
So what have been the biggest challenges then over the last 5 years?
Price, the government's increasing this, that, and the next thing, and taking away all your control as a business person. Staff.
Tell me what you mean by that then.
I agree that there should be equal and all the rest of it, where people are not being paid £1 an hour and all that nonsense, right? I would hope all my staff would agree. I'm a very fair boss. But I do believe in performance-related pay. And as a very small business, I can't offer that because each year the government decides that the minimum wage is going up. And now every 18-year-old is getting paid a lot more than they were getting paid last year. So where I might have rewarded my really hard-working 18-year-olds with a bit more pay, I can't because I've now got to pay them all a lot more pay. Yeah. So the ones who are overperforming, they're the ones that are suffering. And the ones that are underperforming, they didn't deserve a pay rise. So I wouldn't have given them a pay rise. And then the national insurance, so that's goosed us, and business rates and everything. So that cuts into all your profit.
Either has to be passed on to the customer or come out of your profit, doesn't it?
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I sell ice cream. I can't sell an ice cream for £6. Yeah, I could, but who's going to buy it? So you have to be realistic in your pricing, which means then I'm absorbing a lot of that. So when you've set your kind of forecast for where you would hope your business would be, and then the government comes and adds this, that's the end of that. And I don't like the fact that I'm not in control of. I can pay above, obviously, and there are staff that do get that, but I would like to be able to say, you have done an amazing job, so I'm going to give you an extra per month. I can't, because now all my
that cash is not not available to you.
It's not available to me. No, it's not available to me anymore, and that's frustrating because I like to be that type of boss that rewards hard work, because that's what I do myself. I like to be rewarded for hard work, so I will always reward hard work.
Yeah.
So, but I've got staff that have been with me for the full time, 5 years. So I must be doing something right.
Absolutely. So what else has been a challenge then?
Staffing is I don't have a problem getting staff because I get CVs every single week. Because let's face it, it's an ice cream and sweetie shop. It looks like a fun place to be, which it is on a whole, it is. But it's really hard work and really stressful when you have a sunny day and that queue, we try not to have it going down the street. We try to divert them along the lane. And for two reasons, really, because when you look out the window and all is a sea of people, that's quite stressful. And you've got to work really fast to try and get through that. But yeah, it's getting staff that are committed. Would that be the right word? And don't get me wrong, the majority of mine are. But what would be the biggest challenge? The biggest challenge probably is the young staff. I'm teaching them how to be a good employee at the same time as teaching them what I need them to do in the shop. So I'm doing both because at the end of the day, this is most of their first jobs. So I'm educating them on what is acceptable to be as an employee. And I do have very high standards, and I do always say that in an interview, that if you don't think you can work with me, I absolutely respect that, because I have got above standards than most people. And I understand that some people might just go, oh, no. And I have had that. I've had people come in, and that's why I always offer people a trial. I've had people work and come to me and say, I don't think it's for me. And I'm like, I respect that. That's great. Rather than take the job and 2 weeks later go, oh no, this is not for me.
If it's not for them, then they're not the right person for you.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And we're not a good fit. And
Yeah.
for a young person to be able to recognize that, I think that's fantastic. Because they're not putting themselves in a situation that isn't a right fit for them. And you're not trying to put a ball in a square hole. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. So, yeah, so that's why I always say to them, I respect your decision and I fully get that. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, just having, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time with new young staff. It's at least a year until you get them to the level where they know what they're doing and they understand what's expected. And I guess that's probably because it is seasonal. It's not like they're doing this all year round. It usually kicks off in March and tails off about October. So over the winter months, they don't get very many hours at all, unless we've got big events on. So it does take a little bit longer to get them up to scratch.
So that seasonality, actually, that must be quite a challenge for you as
Hugely.
a business owner.
Yeah, hugely. Managing your stock. You've almost got to be a bit of a fortune teller and decide, will I need that much stock? Will I not? In one way, we're really lucky because the majority of our stock is frozen and it has quite a long shelf life. And so if you over order, it's not really that big a deal. If you over order in the winter, it is, because it's sitting there a long time. Which I don't like. I like my stock to be turning over. So yeah, you're constantly weather watching. So I do orders on Mondays and Thursdays. So on a Monday, I'm looking ahead to the week. By Tuesday, that can change. By Wednesday, that can change. And on a Thursday, I'm looking ahead to the weekend and the beginning of the following week and trying to guesstimate. But also I have to add into that mix, in the summer season, we have our events trailer, which is booked. We've got 2 events this weekend, two events, no, none last weekend, 2 the week before, 2 the week before, and 2 next week. So I've also got to gauge them. Like, how many people are going to attend these events? And again, I don't like to have run out of something, so I will always carry more stock than I think I need, just in case, for those things. So yeah, you've got to be a little bit, it's guesswork, really.
So that planning, I guess that wasn't something that you really thought about before you take on
No,
an ice cream shop? No. So
no, not at all.
you make some mistakes in the early days.
I didn't run out of anything in the early days, which I was very proud of. I was following the previous owner's system until I very quickly thought, this system doesn't work for me, so I'm going to change this up. And then once I got that changed over to something that did work for me, it was better. I felt more organized. I am quite an organized person, and I hate wasting time. So I like being efficient with time.
Yeah.
So, because in the first few weeks, I was running in to Booker's twice a week, because that's what the previous owners had done, going there at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then I was like, this is nuts. This is bonkers. And I spoke to them in Booker's and said, I don't suppose you guys deliver to Banchory. And they're like, yeah, every week. I was like, what? Okay.
So there's a bit about assuming just because this is the way it's always done, it's not necessarily the
Not
best way of
necessarily the
doing
right way.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I do, and when I say that to my staff all the time, I'm like, if you think you can come up with a better way for anything that we do, please don't keep it to yourself. Let me know. Just because it's the way I've done it doesn't necessarily mean that in my head it's the best way, but you might come up with something even better. So yeah, that was really funny. I just remember the woman saying, yeah, we deliver every week. I was like, okay, why am I driving in and out of here like twice a week? And then I discovered a wholesaler that did sweets half the price of Booker's. So that was a big saving. And again, that got delivered direct to the shop. I was like, fantastic. This is so much better. So yeah, that was all learning and
Yeah.
having the time to research. That takes time.
Yeah.
To research different suppliers takes a lot of time.
It must have been great buying an existing business though, that
Definitely.
had customers, had reputation, had staff. There's
Yeah.
a real saving there rather than starting something up from scratch.
Yes, I started up my hair salon from scratch. Well, I can't even remember what year that was. A long time ago. It used to be a shoe shop, and I converted it from a shoe shop to a salon. And that was definitely harder. Although I had been a chair renter somewhere else, so I had a client base to come with me, and they did all come with me, but the grass is always greener because you see the employer. He's like, ah, I want a piece of that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
but
you
you don't
realize,
see that hard work in those 2 o'clock in the mornings that you mentioned already. Yeah, you don't
yes,
see that.
you
Yeah.
don't see that. No, you just see the nice car, the nice house, the nice holidays. Think, oh, okay. Yeah, no, no. I worked more than 12 hours a day, 6.5 days a week for the first year of that business. And then you get it.
Yeah. You keep going like this or you burn out. Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Then you're like, I need staff. I need to employ people. Thank you very much. So no, the difference, having done both,
A
definitely
service
having done,
business and a retail business, very different as well. Yeah.
yes, yes, because one is, you know what's coming in a
Mhm.
service business because they've all got booked appointments. In the retail, you're at the mercy of, you hope that people are going to come in the door and buy goods that you've got.
Yeah.
So each one comes with its own stresses as well. But yeah, having done both, having started from scratch and taken over existing, yeah, I would say the taking over existing was better.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you're a serial entrepreneur, Jules.
Am I? I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
What have you learned about yourself as an entrepreneur over the years in business?
I like being busy. I like to be busy. I don't like. I don't, I once. I think what I do is I like to take something, make it really good, and then move on. So my brain is always thinking about where can the next thing be? What can I do next?
So is that like taking the shop, refitting it, getting it all running really well, and then you went, oh, let's have a trailer.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
It's then right. So what can we do now? How can we? What else can we do? So yeah. So the trailer. Well, what we actually did to test that water was we started with a gazebo. So we bought a van that we could get a freezer and a gazebo and all the stuff that we needed in. And then we rocked up to events, set up our gazebo, got our freezer, had all our tables and all our goods, and got our, what do you call it, environmental health pass and everything. That was all good. And we did that for, was that a couple of years? But that was exhausting because at the end of a really busy day, you had this whole shebackle to take down, pack up, then
Mm.
get back to shop to drop off. And at the end of that summer, I said, Gav, I'm done with this. We need a trailer. We need a trailer. We've tested the water. We know there's a market there. We know that we will be better if we have a trailer, and we can get invited to more things because we can go further. Because what we decided with the gazebo, we had a generator that kept the freezer going. But we decided that we would go with a battery for the trailer, which meant we could go further afield because the freezer would be attached to the battery while we were commuting.
Yeah.
And also we could go off grid anywhere. We could be anywhere because we had our own battery. So we got the trailer for last season. We were a little bit late in getting into some of the bigger events just because we didn't know. We didn't know that they have a kind of cut-off period because they plan these things months in advance. So, you know, they're kind of cut off. A lot of them is the end of January. And we were sort of contacting them in March going, hey, we've got a trailer. Would you be interested? No, sorry, we're already full. But we had quite a lot of bookings last year. It was good. And it was, I would say, I'm kind of glad because it let us, again, find our feet with the trailer, see what works, see what doesn't work, what we can do better before we hit this year, which is just go. And what we did learn from that was we used to carry the battery in the back of the van. And I said to Gav, the battery needs to go in the trailer because then if he's busy, I can just hitch on and move off. But I could not carry that battery, as strong as I am, into the back of the van by myself because it's so heavy. So we have it now fitted in the trailer. So it means I'm self-sufficient if Gav is busy. Yeah, much better.
I love that learning process. You did this, you learned what worked, you learned what didn't work, you then implement those changes, learn again what works, what doesn't work. And this, by the end of this summer, you'll have tweaks and improvements again.
Yes, exactly. And I think you have to evolve with the business, whatever that business is. You have to be able to tweak things and change things and make things better. And that's how I think that's how a business grows, because you learn that didn't really quite work. Let's try it this way. And so far, every event that we've been to this year so far, they've come over and they've said, really enjoyed having us there and we would come back next year. So that's very positive feedback for me. And so, yeah, we'll be invited to all the events that we've already done next year again.
Perfect.
So that's
brilliant.
Good.
So you're doing something well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's slow and steady. We've built up the shop business to then be able to allow me to release to go and build up the trailer business. Yeah.
So what's next? What's the next big goal for Continental Cream?
Oh, I don't know. Another shop? I'm not sure. My husband would say absolutely not. He's the sensible, Juliet, calm down chap. And I'm like, but we could do this and we could do this and we could do this and we could do this. Yes, I think because I have a lot on with the trailer this summer and I have a few sort of senior staff changes going to be happening. So my brain won't be able to think further than after the summer.
Yeah.
I think I'm just kind of I want to get through the summer and I want to do a really good job at all the events we go to. And I want the shop to run as if, and I know it will because I have got very good staff in there. So I know the shop will run efficiently. And I want all the events to go very well. And I think once that's done, then Julia's brain will go, okay, now what?
I guess that's the benefit, or Gavin might say the downside of having such a seasonal business, that you have time to then think about the next phase. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to have to go and let this dog out. She's whining at the door. Give me 2 seconds.
No problem.
Come on, Toots. Come on, Toots. Come on. Go on then. Good girl. Right, she's good.
I'm thinking, Jules, it can be lonely in business as the business owner. Who's been your biggest supporter over the years?
Gav.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gav. As much as we can get on each other's nerves because we are two very different people, I think I've been fortunate because I do have someone that I live with that's also involved, so he gets it to a certain extent. And I can sound off, blah, 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 and then that's it's done without that affecting anyone else. It kind of keeps it within us.
Yeah.
And yeah, family and having good staff. Staff are very supportive. If you've got good staff, they can really be supportive. And I think that's a two-way street. I'm very fair and I try to accommodate my staff. If something comes up and they need a day off, we've got a system in place where they just contact another team member and get that switched. And yeah, I would say I've got good staff that are supportive as well.
Huge.
Yeah, and they believe in what we're doing.
Yeah.
Which is always helpful. Your staff can be your best supporter and they can also be the hardest thing that you've got.
Yeah. At the same time. Yeah.
At the same time. Yeah. Yeah. But I do think if you're just fair,
yeah,
it kind of works both ways, and listen to them. Especially having young staff, they come up with all the new ideas. They've got all the movie milkshakes of the season. Jules, can we do this? Jules, can we do that? I'm like, you just crack on. Yep. If you think it's going to sell, put it out there. So yeah, staff, and my family, my kids. Although sometimes they would, oh, Mum, do we have to do that this weekend again? I'm like, yeah.
I wanted to ask you, Jules, about the community. You're very involved in the business community within Banchory. Tell me about your reason for getting involved in that.
Because I think if you've got a business in your community, I think it's your duty of care to get involved in that community, know what's going on in that community, and help that community thrive. Because in my opinion, if you can create a kind of destination like Banchory, then all businesses will benefit.
Yeah.
So if you want to just keep your little corner to yourself, I don't think that works. If you're only interested in what you can benefit. No, if you can benefit the community as a whole, then everyone benefits. Yeah. Everyone that lives there, plus everyone that visits there. And I was approached by the previous, they were more like the sort of community council, really, I think, to help them out when they were doing a pipe band event. Was that my first year or just going into my second year? And it was two older men, very nice men that had been involved in the business community in Banchory. And I said, absolutely, I'll help. And they almost fell over. They're like, you'll help? And I was like, yeah, why wouldn't I? I was like, if you're bringing a pipe band event to Banchory, that's all it can be is good for Banchory, surely. So that's then when I think I met quite a few people with the same ideas as me, make Banchory a great place. And then from there, I met other business women. Actually, it was all women to start with, also that feel the same as me. And our Banchory Business Association had folded a few years prior, but we all felt like we needed to get that back up and running. So we spent a sort of year behind the scenes, just the four of us, working out what we should do, what we shouldn't do, and how best to approach it. And we held a meeting, and Banchory Lodge very kindly hosted it. And we had a lot of business people came, men, women, in the town, out of the town, on the outskirts of the town. And the feeling was that everybody wanted it. So just earlier this year, we got the Business Association back up and running, and we had a huge attendance. And the Tonic Oil this time hosted that, which was very kind of them. And, I think probably COVID had a lot to do with why it folded. But a lot of us that are in there now are new business owners since prior to that. So like we said, we're bringing new blood, new ideas. Let's forget what's been and done. Let's go with who we've got now and who wants to be involved now. All for the greater good of Banchory.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. If you can support your community and be involved in your community as a business owner, then I just think it benefits everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's something I am very passionate about, is if there's something going on and people ask me if I can help out, you can guarantee I'll be there. because I think it's important to help out. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a big thing. It is a big thing to me. I want Banchory to thrive. I
Yeah.
want Banchory to be a great place, because I have very fond memories of Banchory as a child.
And it's almost like the businesses in Banchory are a community service, really.
Yes,
You are there to serve the community and
yes,
make some money while you're at it.
yes,
Yeah. But
yes.
to provide ice creams and sweeties, to provide jobs, to provide somewhere that the people passing through will stop and then maybe go to some other businesses around the area. It all builds, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we've got a lot of community things that go on, like the Banchory Community Football Club. They do a lot of stuff. And so, if it's ever a charity thing, we always get involved and we offer them 25% of our profits. That's what we do for any charity thing that we get asked to go along to. And because I want to support these organizations need help to keep going. And that's mainly for the children. So they've all got something good that they can do.
Yeah.
So we do get asked along a lot of those types of things. And the schools things as well. Yeah, I just think it's important to be part of the community where your business is. Very important.
I think it's a great message. A great message. If there was any piece of advice you would give a woman who was thinking of starting or buying or getting involved in entrepreneurship, having their own business, what advice would you have for them?
So it is harder when you're a woman if you've got children,
Yes.
because I always say my main job is I'm a mum. My second job is I'm a shop owner. My third job is I'm a hairdresser, a wife, a dog walker. And so I would say, regardless of what the trade or whatever it is you're thinking of getting into, is you need to learn it. You need to learn it. Like I did. I went into the shop for 2 months with the people who'd been running it for 23 years. What better teachers did I have? I could have gone to a ice cream school and spent £2,000 and learned all about ice cream, but how was I going to learn how to run a shop? That wasn't going to teach me anything. And that comes further down the line. So I would say, whatever it is you're thinking about getting into, go and learn about it so you know enough about it. And if you can, go and work in it.
Yeah.
Get the insides and outs of that business from the ground, and then you'll know what to do to go up. And just, it's hard to say, because every time you take on a new business, you will work yourself, you will work your bones, and you have to accept that. So if you're not willing to put in 16 hours a day, you're not ready to do it yet. So maybe it's just learn more about it now, so then you are ready to do that. But yeah, I would say my main advice is learn about what it is you want to do. And if possible, go and work in it. I would say, because that way you're learning the inside, you're learning the guts of the business before taking the leap into it.
Brilliant. Fantastic advice. Thank you very much. Yeah, we could talk all day. We probably will. But yeah, Jules, thank you so much for being on the show. Really appreciated you taking the time.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, you weren't sure before you came on, but that's great. I'm glad.
I am a talker, so I have to sometimes.
I knew you'd be a great guest. And thank you to you for listening to Scale Her Up. If you enjoyed this episode, follow the show and leave a review. It helps more female business owners find us. Come and join our Scale Her Up Facebook community to get support, accountability, and connection with women who get it. And remember, only 1 in 3 UK entrepreneurs are female, and men are still 5 times more likely to scale their business beyond £1 million in turnover than women. When we start and scale our businesses to the same extent as men, we'll add £250 billion to the UK economy and create millions of jobs. Ladies, you can do it, and your business can make a massive difference.